The number one source of antioxidants for Americans today, you guessed it, coffee and tea. I'm gonna break it down right now. If used properly, both can be superfoods in your diet and incredible sources of antioxidants. Antioxidants are important because it fights off all the free radicals and a lot of the chemicals that end up in our systems that create damage. These neutralize it. So coffee can be a superfood, plus your liver loves it as well. You gotta buy the right kind, otherwise it can be a negative because it can contain a lot of pesticides and a lot of chemicals. So when I look for coffee, what I'm looking for is organic. I buy it higher quality to get the most antioxidants out of it, as well as eliminate the pesticides that are oftentimes used in conventional coffee. So I'm standing in front of a lot of my favorites. A brand like this really pays attention to getting, and then this is more of a local one. There's a lot of local ones, but I'm looking for the one that says organic on the front of it. Here's some organic blends down here. USDA organic is what we're looking for. Fair trade is going to just make sure that the practices of how they produce the coffee are fair to the farmers, to the environment overall. But we're looking for organic when it comes to regular coffee. It's going to eliminate the pesticides, going to give you that maximized antioxidants that you need. Now, when it comes to decaf coffee, it can still have some benefits, but you got to be very careful. So let's move our way this way just a touch. And when it comes to decaf, here's one right here. What we're really looking for is organic is going to be nice to make sure the chemicals don't show up in there. But see how this says Swiss water process right here? The Swiss water process is when they make decaf coffee and pull the caffeine out of it. Traditionally, chemicals are used to get that caffeine out. In a Swiss water process, they use just water to extract the caffeine, and then what's left is the decaf coffee. So when you're only using water, you're avoiding a lot of those chemicals. You're not putting yourselves at jeopardy. So the last thing we'd want to do is make a superfood bad with poor processing, poor manufacturing. So getting organic, getting it without the chemicals and processed right, you're going to get a lot of the benefits with your coffee. I love to make the DLG coffee where I add some fats to it and some collagen. I put that recipe down below for you. Let's have a look at tea. Teas have an incredible amount of benefit. The main one that I would pick from a quality standpoint is loose leaf. That's what's going to be down in this end, kind of in the containers. But then as I move closer to you, a lot of these are in the bags. They're cheaper sometimes, but you really got to be careful of the bags when it comes to chemicals. Many of them are bleached, or they're wrapped in plastic, or they contain carcinogens. Epichlorohydrin and propylene are two of them that end up in the tea bag itself. It seeps into your tea, and those are known carcinogens. So we want to avoid those. So when we're shopping for an actual bagged tea, if you do see this organic symbol, they're not going to be using the bleaches and the types of chemicals. So I'm looking for organic. Sometimes on the front of the box, they'll even say, made without bleached bags, or they're actually conscious of the bag. This is why loose leaf is the absolute best. If you have a tea seeper, you can just put the tea right in. You have to avoid the bag altogether. But if I'm going to get a superfood in the form of turmeric, in the form of, sleepy time tea, or a de-stressing tea, or a decaf green tea to help with antioxidants, we don't want to kill all those antioxidants with lots of processing. So I want to make sure that we get it organic to maximize those nutrients, as well as make sure what it's steeped in doesn't add more chemicals to your body. The last thing I would touch on when it comes to tea and coffee is what you put in it. We make a good superfood, the number one source of antioxidants that we have, bad by what we put in. So I'm going to talk about in other videos creamers, but just make sure you're not adding lots of sugar to your coffee or tea, making sure you're not adding an unclean source of dairy or an unclean source of milk. You should check out our other videos to make sure you understand how to get those things properly clean. But that's why I like to just add some healthy fat like coconut oil and butter. Yes, butter. And some collagen so I can get some healthy protein in my morning coffee. I call that breakfast. That's the DLG coffee for you. I put the recipe down below. Check it out. And for more next steps on how to make foods simple, subscribe to the channel and we'll keep them coming.